So, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the New Jersey Youth Talks Back podcast. My name is Jay, our host for today, and we are here with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Shadura Lee. And say more, or should I just leave that for later?
You can go on.
Okay, so my name is Shadura Lee. I am a Trenton resident. I am a former educator in Trenton Public Schools. And currently I am an organizer at Salvation and Social Justice. I also cold press juice. I'm an advocate for meditation and just a youth and student advocate overall.
Awesome. So, the topic for today is mental health and safer learning environments. So, let's grab our tea and dive straight into the discussion.
Hi, T. Let's get it.
So, Shadura, why is mental health and safer learning environments so important to you? What drove you to these topics?
Yeah, so I was educated in Trenton Public Schools. And so what that looked like is me being in segregated schools. New Jersey is ranked sixth for most segregated schools in the country. And so as a middle schooler or as a high schooler, I didn't understand or identify that I was in a segregated school. And I really didn't conceptualize what that truly meant. And so what that means is just fewer resources to truly meet the needs of the community. And so what that looked like for me is a school that wasn't able to 100% support the community that they were educating, right? So, yeah, we know Black and Brown folk are disproportionately impacted by state violence, by poverty. And so when it translates into schools, we're not able to fit this standard, this stereotype, this cookie cutter way of instructing youth. Um, it takes more than just you instructing students at the top of the classroom and you giving your lesson plan to really connect and educate Black and Brown low income communities, especially if the teacher doesn't look like the student. So that being said, like my experience in schools, the oppression that I faced from teachers, I love teachers. Teachers were great, and it's not about individual teachers, it's more so about a structure. So the oppression that we face as a class in terms of young Black students in that classroom, not really fostering our individual talents and knowledge and skills, that's what I wanted to fight against. I wanted in my classroom, when I got a classroom, which I did after school, to be something that was more liberating, something that kids connected with, something that young people could engage, feel safe, ask questions, and just show as their authentic selves, whatever that looked like, even if that didn't look like the expectations that adults should have for students, right? Oh, you're not supposed to talk about certain things with students. Well, really nothing is off limits because a lot of times students are coming to talk to the teachers about things they can't talk to their parents about or talk to a trusted adult about. So if they're coming to you as a teacher and whatever that is, just figuring out how to help them, support them, and really truly being there for students. Yeah, so I'm just passionate about education in safe environments because I needed that safe environment growing up. Without schools, without me going to a classroom, knowing that I can engage with a book or knowing that I can engage with teachers in a safe manner, I wouldn't, yeah, I don't know where I would be. um, and so shout out to those teachers that did go the extra mile. I know like I had an AP teacher, he would take us to Barnes and Nobles after class or after school so that we could study for AP tests. I had teachers that took us out to lunch to just talk to us and get to know us more because if you're not from that community, it's hard to connect to the students there. And so mental health as well, I'm passionate about because all of this structural violence from the state, whether it's direct or indirect, it plagues the mind. And so I'm passionate about mental health because if you don't have a strong mindset in this capitalist, white supremacist, colonizer state, um, if you don't have if you don't have a strong mentality, then all of these things that people want to name you, want to call you, can get to you. You'll start internalizing what the state is saying about you, or with um what data and statistics say about Black folk, what your environment says about you. You look around, you're like, oh, well, all Black people that I'm around, we are poor, or a lot of people that I know are struggling. So it must be something innately wrong with Black people. No, it's a structure, it's a system that we need to attack. And I'm just going to take a sip of tea now.
I love
Next question. That was the worst question, and I just went in. I'm sorry.
This is going to be amazing. Okay, so you have your firsthand experience as a student in the New Jersey educational system. And from what I can see, you also have teaching experience in New Orleans. So can you tell me about like the differences between the educational systems in the different states?
Yeah. So I taught at a charter school in New Orleans, and same thing when I came back to New Jersey, I taught at a charter school. And because I feel like New Orleans just has a different context than New Jersey, clearly, the structure was just different. So for example, in New Orleans, there are mostly charter schools. However, in New Jersey, we have more traditional public schools. So with only having the option of charter schools in New Orleans, they don't, it's just different in terms of like how all students are going to go to a charter school in New Orleans, right? In New Jersey, and specifically in Trenton, the main charter school that I think of is Foundation Academy. I think what else? What other charter schools are there? But I can't think of many, right? So they're just less, and that just makes it less prestigious in some ways. I feel like the charter schools in Trenton, New Jersey, I'm going to speak on, are more prestigious and more selective because they're just fewer. Also, I feel like the two states are very similar in terms of them leading with, in charter schools in New Orleans and Trenton, leading with the mindset of we know what's best for the youth, rather than truly including them in on the process of how schools should operate. Recommend the, what is it, the pedagogy of the oppressed. I recommend that educators read that because it talks about allowing the youth to really lead, and in order to liberate themselves, in order to give youth tools to liberate themselves.
Nice. Let's get into a little bit of mental health. Let's talk about Auntie Lee's house. So
Yes,
you promote mental and physical health through meditation, fitness, and
yes,
based diets. So why
yes.
those three specific ideals? What drew you to those three things?
Yeah, so meditation is so pivotal to me because a lot of times I don't give myself a breath or a moment to just feel my body. And I feel like when I am intentional about meditating and meditating on what I want out of my day just feels so much better because I'm able to ground myself to truly understand who I am and what I'm bringing into the day. And so I really like to start my day with meditation and just reflection, breathing, showing gratitude. And meditation can look different to you. Meditation can be journaling. Meditation could be running. Meditation is just really having an idea. It could be having an idea and really thinking about that idea, resting with that idea. It could be deep breathing and clearing your mind. But it really is rejuvenating and it's restorative to your body and to your mind. So that's why I love meditation. For green juice, I love green juice because it detoxes the gut. And when you have a healthy gut and you feel light and you don't feel pain or discomfort in your gut, you feel really good, like going throughout the day, like your attitude is better. And because of all of the things that we face as Black women living in this world, but also specifically the US, I really have to be intentional about eating well overall. So plant-based diets, green juice, meditating, doing anything I can to overload my system with wellness and love and cleaning my system of all of the toxins that capitalism puts in us, or the patriarchy or systemic oppression in any way it attacks us. Yeah, what about you?
I'm not drinking no green juice. I'm gonna let you know. I'm not drinking no green juice. I'm gonna stick to my tea. We're gonna stick there.
Okay, tea is good. What kind of tea do you have?
I have black tea. Okay, I'm trying. I'm
Okay.
transitioning from my coffee phase. No, I was a caramel macchiato every day. Okay,
Ooh.
so I'm transitioning off to a black tea.
Okay. So what made you want to make this transition?
My attitude. You know, coffee will do it to you.
Oh, yes, it will.
And not having coffee will definitely do it to you. So
It's a two-way catch.
I so you know in high school there's a lot of testing, especially junior year. There was no time to get coffee. So that attitude was not helping testing and it was not helping social environments. But black tea, it gives like a clearing sense almost. I really do love it.
Yeah, I love tea too. Yeah, I
But
agree.
green juice, I don't love it.
Green juice is good. What kind of green juice have you had?
Oh, I can't remember the name of the place I went to. Wow, I was in South Jersey.
Oh,
You know, I have to text someone for it, but when I find it, I'm gonna give it to you because it wasn't it. And
uh-huh. So the green juice that I love is called the Powerhouse. It consists of 7 powerful ingredients: ginger, cucumber, celery, kale, spinach, green apple, and one more thing. What am I missing? I don't know. I'm missing cucumber. Did I say cucumber? Cucumber, celery, kale, spinach, ginger, lime, green apple, lime. So those it's so delicious. I love it. And when you drink like 16 to 32 ounces to start your day, you have an amazing energy boost. Your mind is clear. You have oxygen in your blood and you can breathe deeply. I'm telling you, green juice is where it's at.
okay, well, we're gonna have to talk after this to link up and get us some green juice.
Okay.
Okay.
And you know what? I can throw a pineapple in there if you want to make it a little bit
Ooh,
sweeter.
love
Okay.
pineapple.
So yeah, we can do that as well.
So, you also do your own podcast, the Say Network. So
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
the focus of the podcast there?
Yeah. So it's called Say Shit. And it's really so Say Network in general. So Say Network LLC is a network of women that consist of educators, community activists, singers, dancers, DJs, producers, um, small business curators, entrepreneurs. We have women that own tea businesses, women that have jewelry lines. And so a plethora of women of color, predominantly Black women, that are dedicated to, first of all, educating the community, growing their wealth, and yeah, being empowering women. Um, and so the CEO is Valana Denise. And the COO, I believe it's called, her name is Ashley. And so these two powerful women, they curate these spaces and they are the operators of the Say Network LLC. So Say Shit podcast, it's about three hosts, but we alternate. And really it's a time for us to talk shit. We talk about what is relevant to us in our individual businesses or interests. And so yeah, stay tuned so you can check out our podcast. Say shit, yeah.
Yes, I was watching one of your episodes yesterday, actually, and you guys were having a blast. Okay. I was like, I'm gonna have to pull that energy into my podcast because y'all were cracking up.
Well, you will have to do some little okay to turn it up, okay? Because those women, they are hilarious. They're just funny. So anytime we get together is amazing. we curate events for people. So we do a lot of um showcasing artists, new artists. Um, I have I have like meditation events that center around women's wellness. As a group, we do women wellness workshops and events. We've done one at the Hub on April 21st at Passage Theater in Trenton, New Jersey at 6 p.m. I'll be hosting a meditation event. And so y'all join me. You already know. So yeah, say shit, say podcast, say network LLC is all the way up. Check us out.
So throughout all these spaces and these avenues that you work with and within, what is your goal at heart to accomplish?
Whoa. I think to demonstrate first love for one another, for humanity, for my brothers, for my friends, for an individual human. And doing that every day by showing up for people, demonstrating support, care for them, um, making sure we show up for the people in our community so that people know that we're all connected. You're never alone, and that this life, is beautiful. I love the sun. I love the weather today, but it's not always peaches and cream. Okay, um, so knowing that people are not alone and creating spaces that continue to grow that with that understanding. Um, yeah, my overall goal is to connect with people and create community and continue to build it so that we're on one accord in terms of how to make spaces better for everyone, not just you as an individual, not just for your family, not just for the people in your city, but for people in your city, in your state, in your country, and internationally.
Awesome. My next question, because I'm very curious, throughout the mental health practices and tools that you use personally, have you ever had to, just like go into your mind and use one in say a public capacity or at work even? Have you ever just had to, sit there and hone on your mental health tools?
So like in a space, yes, 100%. So like feeling triggered. Um, oof. So I am an organizer and we work with directly impacted people all the time. So that could look like me talking in a circle with women that have been sexually assaulted, me talking to people about homelessness, me talking to people about police brutality. That really takes a toll on you hearing those stories every day. So yeah, sometimes I have to, and the people that share my office with me, they know I gotta get up, I'll do a push-up, I'll walk around the room, I'll do my deep breath, I'll go outside, take a break. Um, I'll get my body activated because that's one way I get the anxiety off of me. Dr. Jessely De La Cruz, she taught us this like trick. So like when you're in a conversation, just pat yourself. That's really helpful when I'm feeling anxious and I'm talking, I'm having a difficult conversation. I'll just pat myself like this. I tap my leg. But the key for me to going into these spaces is preparing for those triggers, because if I'm talking in front of state legislators or if I'm talking in front of a Black caucus, if I'm talking in front of people that aren't 100%, never know if they have my same agenda, and that gives me anxiety, to prepare for that. So that looks like deep breathing beforehand. When something doesn't sit well with me, already having a tool that I'm going to go to. So I know this person is going to say this when I say this. When I say keep the police out of our schools, I know they're going to push back with this, and that might trigger me. So going in there knowing this is expected. So yeah, being as prepared as you can, because I feel like after you're triggered and after you have you have to calm yourself down, it's harder for me. And when I'm at that point, usually I just have to get away, and I just can't be around it at all, rather than just de-escalating myself. So preventative measures are key for me.
Yeah, and as you were saying, sometimes you have to pat yourself. Something that I do when I need to calm down, and I find it funny at times because my grandfather does it. I think that's where I got it from. But I rub my knee. So I'll just sit there and I'm like, hmm.
That's a good one. Sorry. That's a good one because that's like, it's not making anybody else anxious. When I be tapping my foot, it makes everyone anxious because she nervous. But you rubbing your leg, that's a smooth one. I like that.
Yeah, it really, because I have a strong connection with him. So sometimes, I'll just pick something up and I don't even realize I'm picking it up or that it's bettering me. But it really does help a lot.
Yeah. So what makes you, well, I'm sure a lot of things, but what makes you anxious these days in spaces?
Um, well, let's start off the podcast. I love it. It's a new step in my organizing. Um, but it is also new, so it's something I'm not exposed to, something that I'm still developing. So it does, I do get anxious sometimes when I'm doing it. So sometimes I might rub my knee. Thankfully, you can only see right here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Also testing again, like I talked about earlier, we have a lot of testing in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's ridiculous. There
Yeah,
is
it is.
so much testing, and I was actually just talking to my friends about it. I was like, the burnout is real, especially during junior year. There's like 1,000 tests, especially if you're taking
Yeah.
courses. I need
Yeah.
to score a 6, okay?
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so sometimes I have to even hone in on my mental health tools because of those things. Sometimes I just have to take a break. Something I like doing, and I'm sure any teenager will agree with me, is napping.
Yeah.
A nap can
Oh
save
yes. Come on.
you.
Come on, Naps.
But yeah, another thing, and everyone always asks me, when I'm speaking at an event or something, do I not get nervous? And I always find it funny because I get nervous a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And because I tend to sway between motivational speaking and poetry, um, a big thing that's helped is debate. So whereas I can hear myself mess up while I'm speaking, you won't hear it because I've developed being able to keep going. Whereas they're like, you did such an amazing job. Like, I don't know how I could do that. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I stuttered like 12 times.
Uh-huh.
But it's just practice, using your
Yeah.
tools, preparing for that environment.
Yes.
It really does come in handy.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yes. Any more questions?
Like, right. So what is something that you're doing in your school community, if anything at all, to kind of cultivate safe spaces for your peers, you and your peers? Do y'all have any groups that you feel like is working for that with that?
Yes. So I am the president of my school's honor society, and a big thing that we do is break the stigma.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my friend Keisha, we love to do these workshops. We also have a podcast at our school where we're talking to people, we're talking about uncomfortable topics. We're engaging our peers about topics that we might not be versed in or they might not be versed in, and we're kind of learning how to develop and how to handle stigmas or life challenges together that you're just not going to get within a school curriculum. Sometimes you just have to go that extra step in order to get the actual resources that you need, and it really is helpful, and it's also connecting. A big thing that we do is have upperclassmen work with lowerclassmen to kind of create that bridge. And it actually helps a lot. I have to say, my school has an amazing family sort of bond. Everyone knows each other. And one thing you can say if you go to my school is, I love bothering my principal. I'm in his office 24/7 with a new idea on how we can improve, how we can connect more, and how we can break the stigma. So the biggest thing that we've done towards that was our Black History workshop. Um, so we did it with the freshman class. Um, there are a lot, but it was successful. We talked about Black icons previous or also living because they're also very important too. We talked about actions and impacts that they've made, how they still affect the world. And then we played a Kahoot because they got a little bored, but it went amazing.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. If you had more support from the staff, um, first, how would like what kind of support would you need? And then how would that be transformative for the people that you're working for?
Yes. So, are you talking about work staff or school staff? Just to
School staff with
okay,
like your
awesome.
club or with
So,
your advocacy work that you're doing in your school.
a big thing that I would like to do, and I would need a lot of staff support, is a teacher workshop. Because as much as we are breaking the stigmas and connecting the students together, the teachers also have to be connected. So I think being able to have a workshop with my teachers, and sometimes it's not about being on that upper level, it's just really being on a platonic level, being able to make that connection, because without those connections it's really hard to see what's in front of you. I think even teachers go through stigmas that they don't notice, or that there's also those stigmas within the workplace between teachers and students, that if talked about, a school environment can be so much better. So I think being able to do that, as well as host workshops more often, bring more people and talk to people about topics that no one wants to talk about. Like you see in Florida, they're banning these conversations. So why not take that leap and have the conversations while we still can? We don't know if they're going to be challenged one day. We don't know if we're not going to be allowed to have the conversations. So being able to actively have those conversations and notice that we're not having them is really crucial. And I think with a lot of support, we could be able to do those things.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it was an
Right
amazing
now for you.
What happened?
I said I don't have any more questions right now for you.
Awesome.
But all I was thinking of, I want to, because you're in New Brunswick, right?
No, I'm in Elizabeth.
You're in Elizabeth. Okay, so you're still not that far from me, I don't think, Trenton. You're just a little train ride away. Um, no, seriously, like I would love for you to facilitate the discussion that we're having in Princeton. You all do get a stipend of 250 if you attend 2 out of these 3 information sessions, and you have to actually facilitate for the 250. But I would love for you to be one of the facilitators. What I kept thinking of as you spoke was like, I want to work with you to organize around the issues that you feel are important in your school. I love the idea of you creating a professional development for teachers. I think students need to be leading those professional developments as well, because they need to know how to engage young people and connect. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be connecting with you.
Oh,
For
absolutely. We have some
yes.
chatting to do with our tea. Well, it was amazing having you here today.
You.
You're very appreciated, and this was an amazing conversation. And hopefully, we get you back on here sometime.
Oh, you can listen. Beat me anytime. I'm here for you. Okay. Hey, thank you so much for all the work you do. Okay. You're Yeah, you're doing so well. Okay. And we
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I look forward to continue our conversation. Have an amazing day.
Have a good day. Bye.